So, hello everybody. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here by myself right now. Although Walter is supposed to join us, I literally just talked to him a couple of minutes ago, so I'm not quite sure where he is, but I'm sure he'll show up nevertheless. But anyway, the purpose of the Demetra K show is to promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community to make us an even better people with the emphasis on even because we are great people, but we can always strive to do better. And so I'd like to say a big giant thank you and welcome to Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. You are the other side of the conversation. And also, we like to share the link here. Hello, JBWR and Black America. We like to share the link here occasionally so you guys can speak your opinion. Hello, Critical. How are you doing today? Uh, so we may share the link today. If Walter shows up, we'll see. If not, it'll just be us. I also sent Donovan the link if he wants to come on. I know he's typically busy. Hello, Michael. How are you doing today? So today we're going to have a discussion. I saw it kind of earlier today, and I'll be honest with you guys. Sometimes I get creators block, like writer's block, where writers like, oh my God, I don't know what to write. So I get that a lot, especially during the middle of the week, which happens to be Wednesday, which is supposed to be Wealth Wednesdays with Walter. So what I'm saying is sometimes I don't know what to talk about, especially if nothing like pops up out at me. And so that's kind of why I'm late, because I'm like, golly, I don't know what to talk about. But then I remembered I saw this kind of trending really on Facebook, what we're going to talk about. So it's basically a man saying that fathers do not have to do anything extra for Christmas for the children because it should come out of the payments that they already make. Of course, I think we kind of already know the answer to this, but maybe people have a varying opinion or whatever. But I want to see what you guys say. So who else came on here? Angela, how are you doing? Troy, what's going on with you? Uh, thank you, GA. Is it GA or is it Georgia? Which is it? Because I've been calling you GA. And Sagittarius Goddess, how are you? And the last good man in Jersey, how are you doing? So, of course, we've had this conversation before. It's nothing new, but again, sometimes I do get creators blocked. So I'm like, we're gonna talk about it again. Of course, you guys also know we talk about everything else that pops up. Hello, Thunder. How are you? We didn't see you yesterday. I'm sure you were busy with your two ladies. Okay, so GA got you. So anyway, I'm assuming Walter will pop up eventually. He probably got busy or something. But nevertheless, I'm gonna put this up. So this is what I saw trending, and it says, "Man says that fathers who pay child support do not have to do anything extra for Christmas because it is included in their payments, and if the mom can't get things done with that, she is mismanaging the funds." Okay, so we'll leave that up there for a minute. Why are you laughing, Thunder? Because I'm right, huh? You was tied up by your two ladies. Well, I hope you had a lot of fun. Black America says, don't give up anything more than you have to. Okay, so that's your opinion right off the rip. And Mike, how are you doing? And Kira, how you doing? He says, I know you effing lying. So you talking about me or him? And I don't even know who this guy is, but like I said, I've seen it quite a bit from between yesterday and today of this man. So I guess, it kind of ruffled some feathers as to what he's saying is true or not. I think a lot of people may be taking exception to the last part because if she can't get things done with the child support, then she's probably mismanaging the funds. I don't know how true that is. I'm sure it's true in a lot of cases. Maybe it's not true. So I don't know. So you said him. So you said, okay. And Dre Day, how you doing? It says pagan holiday, Babylon holiday. Okay. That we agree. Christopher, how are you doing? It says Hebrews shouldn't be celebrating these holidays anyway. Well, let's pretend that everybody, for the sake of argument, because I don't celebrate Christmas either, so I hope we're on the same page with that. But for the sake of this conversation, let's pretend that we do, or at least they do, right? So we can kind of like have this conversation. Because as I said, I don't partake in the holiday as well. So GA say, in my opinion, I agree with him. And Michael, you say it goes both ways. And then Mike, you say he has a good point. Hello, lady. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. So I kind of see everybody having the same opinion. Of course, I will reserve my opinion until the end. I'm going to take this down. You guys mind if I take this down? Everybody kind of got a good glance at it. In the meantime, I'm going to open up the link fairly early. Lord have mercy. I'm kind of afraid to do it this earlier on, but and if you guys have anything else y'all see trending y'all want to talk about, just go ahead and put it in the comment section and we could talk about that as well. I kind of also want to talk about Black Friday, which is coming up relatively soon. This year just gone by so fast. So Black Friday is usually the day after Thanksgiving, and some people seem like they're starting early, but where they have they being these stores and businesses, they have all these sales supposedly at deep discounts, and everybody go out there and spend money. So with today being Wealth Wednesday, we want to talk about the importance of really not doing that. But anyway, we'll get into that in just a little bit later. But I'm going to share the link, so bear with me here. All right, so I want to make sure it's in there correctly. Okay. So I'm going to put this link up, and only if you have something pertinent to add to this conversation, preferably if you're our father or mother or have some experience with this topic, please click the link and we can have this discussion, please, and thank you. Also, if I have never seen you on here before, please show me your face. I'll be the only one that can see your face before I bring you up to the big screen. And then, if you don't want your face to be seen, then you can kind of, I guess, black it back out again. But I at least need to see your face first. So here is the link. It is on YouTube. If you guys are on Twitter or Facebook and you want to join me in the conversation, you have to come on for right now because it's just me. You have to go on to YouTube and click have a conversation. And Donna, if you want to come up here and sit up here with me, please click the link. Walter's supposed to be here, but I'm sure he got sidetracked or something. But I'm going to stop this. Okay, so I'm waiting to see who is going to come up here and give me your opinion. Do you agree or do you disagree, and why? Why do you agree or you disagree? Or maybe you're somewhere in the middle. You kind of see both ways or what have you. So in the meantime, let me get in the comment section. I'll wait for somebody to pop up here. All right, so who else came on here? Okay, so the last good man in Jersey said, why don't you celebrate Christmas? Because it is a pagan holiday. It's very commercial. I don't go to church either. And so for those who do, it's supposed to celebrate Jesus, right? And we know, without getting into that conversation, that Jesus probably was not born in December. But for the sake of argument, I don't know if Jesus ever said to go out there and spend all the money you have buying people presents. So I'm just one of those people. I don't really like corporations telling me when to go spend money or, to go broke over making them rich to please somebody else. Because I do things throughout the year for people. So it's like, I don't think it should be limited to just one day. Now, don't get me wrong. I love Christmas music, the weather, and I like the decorations and all that. I just personally don't partake in it, if that makes any sense. So GA say you don't celebrate holidays as well.
Well, so it.
Oops, let me. You here? You're live in a living color.
Yeah, actually, I'm in color.
Yeah. All right. So, did you see what we were talking about? Did you get a chance to see?
No. I just saw your link.
All right. So,
I can look back at it though.
No, hold on. I'm gonna put it back up here, and you can look at it as I continue to read the comments really quick, so you can get abreast of what we're talking about. And I've also shared the link early, so those who want to come up and give their opinion about it, they can. Here it is. Okay. So that's what it is so far. So you can take a look at it and kind of get an opinion. All right. So let's see here. Jeffrey, how are you doing? And Miss Black is going to join us as well. Hello, Donna.
Hello.
Jeffrey, how you doing? Says Christmas is overrated anyways. Yes, in my opinion as well. And DJ, how you doing? Says this is truth. He is under no obligation to do more than imposed by the law. And let's see here. Star Child, how you doing? Says most times moms get the bare minimum for child support. Men are trifling. Oh my God. When they don't want their kids to have the best. Jeffrey, you say we need to stop lying to our kids, saying Santa gonna do this and Santa gonna do that. Michael, let me wait to have you come up because I specifically said for people who have children. I know you don't have no children right now, or can closely relate to it. So let me bring you back up a little bit later when we change the subject a little bit more to Black Friday, if you don't mind. Let's see here. Okay, so Jeffrey, you says we need to stop lying to our kids, saying Santa gonna do this, Santa gonna do that. Yeah, I never told my daughter that story. Hello, Tracy, how you doing? And Z, how are you? Long time no see. It says hi, folks, and I actually agree, provided that the payment is sufficient. Okay. The last good man in Jersey says I don't exactly agree with him. Okay, well, I'm interested in knowing why. Sagittarius Goddess, she says, what kind of relationship are they building with their kids? I feel the fathers should still buy them Christmas stuff. It's not a have to, but I still feel they should. All right. No worries, Star Child. I know what you meant. And Brother Damon, how are you doing? And then Michael, I'm going to read your comment. He says, having basic necessities is sufficient. Material gifts depreciate over time. That is absolutely true. Your average logical thinker, how are you doing this evening? You say, hey, chat, an interesting topic. We're going to see, right? Tracy says, hi, D. I catch lives when I'm not working. Yay, I'm so glad you're here. King Lowry, how you doing? He says you don't do birthdays either. See, I'm kind of like that with you, except for if it's like my younger nieces and nephews. Yeah, but I got a lot of nieces and nephews and my daughter. Oh, my God, I don't want to talk about my daughter. I probably will later on. Last year, I'll tell y'all about it later. Damien says, I call it holding on to my cash Friday. Yes, indeed. The average logical thinker says, I disagree with 90% of anything. C. Holcomb says, if I definitely disagree. So is that who that is? Is that Corey Holcomb? I don't know if that's him or not. I'm not quite sure if that's him. Let me move this one here. Hold on one second. All right. Okay. We got somebody coming up on here. Oh, y'all can't see him.
How's Jamaica, Donna?
Hold on a second.
I'm not there yet. I'm in Florida now. I leave tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. So, let me move this. We got Brother Al. So hold on one second. I'm gonna mute everybody's mic. Y'all sitting up here asking about Jamaica and stuff. Hold on one second. Okay. Okay, there you go. I'm gonna try to mute Al. I think he's frozen. Okay, so anyway, hold on. Let me get to these comments. Sagittarius, she says, you have a point. And okay, I read that already. And Thunder says, let's define child support. This is a person's obligation mandated by the state at the request of the other parent. If it is paid, obligation fulfilled as state mandated. Next question. Okay. Hey, Donovan, I sent you a link in case you want to come on. I know this is really up your alley. And Al, I think you might be frozen, so we'll see. Are you frozen? Can you move around a little bit? Wave your hand. Yeah, I think he's frozen. All right, so I'm going to remove him until he comes. Yep, he disconnected. Okay. Brother Samuel, how are you doing? You're saying, greetings, Demetra. I say he is right and wrong. I assume the funds are calculated. I was married and paid child support for at least 10 years and still pay for what they needed, as I usually do and did. I see the whole process as another form of IGF, outlawing Black marriages. He says, just as they did in slavery, it just changed forms. I decided to pay and not be manipulated by the system, transfixing the children, seeing the parent whom they love fight. Okay. And Christopher says, if I had kids and had child support, if I wanted to do something extra for my kids, it wouldn't be on Christmas or their holidays. I think that's what you meant. Michael says, what is more important is when a child is being hugged by both parents. Okay. And Michael says, Demetri, I can closely relate because my friend is divorced and forced to pay child support. But I really want to speak to people who have a firsthand kind of like knowledge of it at this moment. So I'll bring you back on just a little bit. Hello, Tisha. How you doing? I see Al, you trying to reconnect. It might be your Wi-Fi. So as soon as I see you pop up, I'll bring you back up here if you can hear me. Okay. And you say listening on the train. Where are you going, Tisha? Where are you going? And Miss Goddess K, how you doing? Says, I don't fuss anymore. Ladies, have your babies back. They will see what they need to see. You don't have to say anything negative either. Okay. Al, as soon as I see you pop up, I'll bring you back on here. All right. So, Walter, you have had a chance to see this. What is your opinion? Or do you want Donna to go first?
Donna, you can go first. I'm gonna get in trouble. I might as well just wait.
Uh-oh. Okay, I got the last good man in Jersey. Now, Al, as soon as I see you pop up, I'll bring you up.
So there is no hard answer for this. And I will say it depends. I'll lead with that. It depends on how much is being paid for child support. You know, if you have someone that's paying $5,000 a month or $20,000 a month in child support, I could understand that this person's already shelling out a lot of money, so that should be incorporated into it. Now, with the Christmas and the birthday thing, is that something that you're going to say to the person that you're paying the child support to? Hey, I gave you $5,000 a month, or whatever the dollar figure is. Go out and buy the child a gift from me and put my name on it. Now, if let's go to the swing of it, you know, you have someone that's paying $50 or $100, and which to me doesn't really cover the basic needs of any child, especially when they're younger. Put forth the effort and go to the Dollar Tree or wherever and pick up something for the kid and give the gift. I think oftentimes men and women get really caught up in the business of raising a child that the court has put them through rather than actually raising the child. You know, I have yet to meet an ordinary woman or man that was receiving child support that was living high off of it. You know, when we get into the Al Pacinos of child support, you know, and the other celebrities, the Halle Berrys, that's a different, but most everyday people are not living well off of child support. They have to pay rent, they have to pay a mortgage. Depending on the structure of the child support agreement, they have to pay for medical coverage. They have to pay for extracurricular activities. And anyone who's ever raised a child understand that children are really expensive, that things come up randomly, and that's not forecasted in child support. I'll speak from my own experience. My ex, very well off. I'll leave it at that. I won't get into the industry of what he does because maybe this might recirculate at a later date someplace. But he does really well. And we went back and forth in court because he was trying, we both made really great money. And of course, they calculate child support based off the income of both parents because it becomes a quality of life for the child. And we're both self-employed. So there are ways we can kind of, you know, finesse a child support form to kind of make it look like we don't make that much money. And short of it, he paid around 20,000+ in legal fees to avoid having to pay child support. And got it down to $150 a month. Now, $150 a month for a child that's going to private school, all these expenses that were in place way before we parted ways. Is it fair? Some might say yes, some might say no. But at the end of the day, my personal outlook at it is, if you're comfortable with that, I'm gonna let you sit with that. You know, that payment that's coming through, that was the state of Florida that did it. So they put it on some kind of Visa card back then. And I handed it to my daughter. I'm like, this is what your daddy's offering up. So that's yours. and I handle the rest. And he went out and he bought whatever he wanted to get for his child, and God bless him, and he did just that. But I'm gonna look at it from a woman that wasn't in my financial situation, who could not afford to do some of the things that I was able to afford. How would she make it with a child? And my thing is, at the end of the day, you never want your children to struggle because you're bitter about your ex.
Absolutely.
And some may say, well, if you can't afford to take care of her, send her to live with me. But I've seen situations where that was a man's take, and the child comes to live with him, and he has his new girlfriend or his mother or his sister as the one taking care of her. So now this child doesn't have either parent taking care of them.
Right.
So that's my 2 cents on that subject matter. I'm on my phone because I'm traveling, so I can't read whatever comments are coming out.
Okay, no worries. I'm putting them up on the screen. So let's see here. We got Donovan and the last good man from Jersey. What you got on the topic, last good man from Jersey?
Okay, so first, Demetra, nice to finally be on a live with
Yes,
you.
indeed. Hold on 1 second. Truth teller, can I see your face before I bring you up? I'm not sure if I had you up here before, but just show me real quick, and then you can blank it back out. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, that's fine. So to give you background, I do co-parent my kid, and I give her mom the cost of insurance and a couple of things monthly. So I can relate to having to provide monthly payments to an ex. I think the first thing that comes to mind, and the previous person was just mentioning this, is when I look at what that guy's saying, I start to wonder what he's really talking about. Is he talking about doing what's in the best interest of the kid, or is he really just talking about kind of getting revenge against his ex? Because it doesn't sound like he's talking about his kids and thinking about his kids with what he's saying. He's still kind of mad at the ex, is what it sounds like.
Mhm.
Now, all of that said, the reason I said I kind of disagree with him is because child support is so messy right now. In theory, child support is supposed to be kind of food and shelter and the basics. But when you start to look at what child support is actually providing, and you start to get into these weird lifestyle adjustments, it can be hard to say, well, what exactly am I giving? Am I just giving you money for the basics, or am I giving you lifestyle money? And if it's lifestyle money, well, that's one thing. If it's the basics, it's another. What I would love to have asked the guy who had the original post was this. You're saying that we don't owe anything extra for kids at Christmas. Okay, I can understand that if you're saying that kids don't deserve presents to begin with. I mean, if I've got my kids at home with me and I'm paying the bills, and Christmas time comes around and I say, well, I don't owe you anything, I'm paying these bills. Okay, that's one hard line to take, but I can understand some people saying that. If you don't agree with that, then I'd wonder, how are you differentiating paying the basics and child support from paying the basics and being in the house? I don't see a distinction there. So that's the reason why I say it's kind of messy, and I kind of disagree with him, but it depends a lot on what exactly he meant.
We got a full house today, so we gonna see. All right, so
not Black America.
Yes, Black America.
You
Lord
grab my
have
drink.
Hello, Easy. How are you today? Hello, Easy. All right, so Donovan, what you got on the topic? You came on second, talking about you were guest today.
I'm a guest today. You guys, please hit that like button. I mean, I'm jumping on, and you guys are coming on, getting this great information and topics and great opinions and conversation. Hit that like button, you guys. Well, as a victim of the child support system, and I'm always going to say that, and most men should say that, as a victim, here's the deal. We always talk about accountability, especially when it comes to the men. And I know a lot of women don't agree that men aren't accountable. We have children. If it's ours or not, we are held accountable. No matter what it goes, we are held accountable. We do a crime, we have longer sentences compared to the women. Now, the women have weaponized the court system against the men. Okay, I don't care what your background is, Asian, white, whatever. The system has been weaponized against men, and I beseech some of you ladies to go actually to that family support court and actually show up instead of having the state represent you. You show up and see how they treat I don't care how rich you are as a man, and I do all right. Walter does all right. I'm sure every man on the panel, we do all right for ourselves financially. But when you're dealing with an unlimited prosecutor that represents the state that says he doesn't represent the woman, how are you going to win that situation? So here it is. The court system has said, this is enough. Anything you do is extra. Fellas, how many times have you gone in there with receipts and said, I provide the clothes, I provide the shoes, I pay for the summer school, I pay for this, I pay for that. What's the first thing the judge tells you? That's a nice gift, but it isn't in the contract. Ladies, you have to be accountable for what you're doing. If you're going to take this man to child support, and unfortunately, depending on where you're at, when I was in the military, I saw guys in the South that were adjudicated $75 a month. $75 a month because they adjudicated that was enough, that's all he needs. Anything extra is extra. So now, even the court system says, this is what you need, ladies. And, oh, he should be paying for the birthdays. He should be paying for the Christmas. What? No, he's abiding by the law that you set. And I'll give you even a better example. My second son's mother and I were both in the military, whatever. We were out of the court system because I learned my lesson. She knew that if she took me to court, she would get significantly less than what I was already giving her. So she didn't come to me with that bullshit about birthdays and Christmases and all that other stuff. I will do because I want to do. But the bottom line is, we talk about accountability. Here we are, ladies, and this is not all ladies, but here we are, ladies. The court said this is what it is, and you still can't deal with the accountability of the decision of the man that you laid with and the children that you bared. Give me a break. I'm done.
Oh,
I'm done.
I'm going to hop back on here because I'm going to disagree with Donovan a little here right now. Having lived in the state of Florida, and I know it applies in Georgia as well, I want to say it was back in 2005. There was a mother that she fled the state with her child. I can't remember the case, but she fled the state with her child. And that was a turning point in the South because they started to recognize that, to Donovan's point, probably up until then, women, what they had to say in court weighed significantly. And it they overcorrected in that aspect. And they decided, they were like, fathers want to be, should have input and into their child's life. Statistically, which is true, when both parents are involved in raising up a child, the child does better, it's more productive. Whereas when you have a fractured home, and they don't get to spend equal amount of time with their children, it doesn't work out well for the child. So they overcorrected it, and now the court systems started to lean more on fathers, and the whole visitation cycle changed to kind of weigh it where there's an equal sharing. It's parent sharing. So, for example, my 3 kids, my youngest was the only one at home, well, only one that fell under that schedule. Our schedule was every other weekend, and every Wednesday he would take her. And during the summer, he got half the summer. During Christmas break, it flipped. There's 2 weeks on Christmas, so he got half, I got half, depending on if it was an odd year or an even year, and so forth. But with that overcorrection, what I did notice, and that's why he ended up with $150 paying in child support, because once he got the visitation schedule wrapped down where it was equal time sharing here, now it's kind of like, oh, Don, I can't pick her up today. And so now it's back to, me taking 90% of the care. But I digress. But I was sat in a courthouse one day because I got tired of paying lawyers because, like I said, he paid over 20,000. I probably paid around 15,000, 10, 15,000, and I finally got. I'm like, I'm not paying this anymore. So I would show up and I would represent myself per se. And I sat in a courthouse one day, and there was a female attorney and her client. He was a father, and she sat there and she said, "This is what you need to say to the judge. Tell the judge that, your son's mother is jealous of your girlfriend and that, she doesn't want you to spend time with her and you really want to spend time with her and spend time with your child and, paint this picture." And she gave him the script of what a judge wants to hear in the state of Florida to be favored. And this is the last part that got me. Once we get this order set in place, you don't have to adhere to it.
Oh,
And I
wow.
was like, and if I hadn't have sat there and it was like sitting across the table because I was sitting on one bench, they were sitting on and I'm watching this live and in person. I'm like, these lawyers got a script for this. And that's why I said, and the judge said something to me early in the process. He said, "I'm a government employee. And when parents come to my courthouse, they are trusting a government employee to dictate, the support of their child and the visitation. You're entrusting a government, and that stuck with me. When people end up in court systems because they can't figure it out, a government employee, and you know who falls as a government employee? Police officers, county clerks. He's a government employee that's fallen into that place. So I do believe that depending on the state you live, sometimes it doesn't necessarily favor the mother. And I think there are a lot of women that have ruined this because they have gotten greedy. They want more and they think they deserve more for whatever. And it becomes a battle of, I'm going to get the most out of you or I'm going to make your life as miserable as I can. And what I always say to people, if you can't co-parent with the other parent, what I need for people to really understand is that it doesn't end when a child turns 18.
Right.
When you have a child for someone, that's a till death do you part kind of thing.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's weddings, there's grandchildren, there's graduations. So, but that's the point I wanted to add in. It doesn't necessarily always favor a woman. I think historically it has, but I think that tide has kind of shifted.
I
Right.
guess just to kind of understand, because we're
And let me
shifting the conversation.
real quick, because I actually want to give Truth Teller and Walter a chance to jump in here because they haven't said anything yet. So, and then we can circle back around. I'm not going to say nothing, so y'all can have plenty of time to speak. But Walter, do you want to go first, or you just listening, or you
Let
want?
me just ask one question and then I'll back out. So, are we getting into the child support conversation, or are we getting into the Christmas gifts conversation? It feels like we're moving.
We still into we both, I guess, because that's kind of what the question is. The statement he made was fathers shouldn't be expected to pay, I guess, to buy Christmas presents because it should be included in the parents. And if the mom can't do it, then she's mismanaging the funds. So that was kind of the gist of the comment there. So I guess we're kind of having a conversation about all of it.
Well,
Okay.
All right. So Walter, Truth Teller, Walter, you want to jump in, or you want Truth Teller to go? Because I know
Truth, you go first.
All right, Truth Teller, what's going on?
Hey
with you?
guys,
Wait.
this is so interesting. So first and foremost, I have to give context to what I believe. So I actually believe that we shouldn't have child support because it's abused too indefinitely. I do think it is up if the couple splits, whoever takes custody of the child, it's up to the other parent to determine whether or not they want to pay for the welfare of that child. So there's no judgment from the outside. If the mother takes the child and the father says, "Hey, you taking him, I'm not giving you no money for him," or the other way around, the father takes the child and the mother's like, "You taking him, I'm not giving you any money for him," that's between those two parents. And if that's the case, that's the case. Pick better if you think you deserve better, right? You pick a husband that you believe is going to truly want to take care of his kids, not somebody who could care less about their kids. And a wife too, by the way. So both sides of the fence.
Well, let me kind of jump in
Mhm.
there. Maybe this before you go on, throw this in there.
Sure.
What about people who do get married and they end up having to pay child support or receive child support? What about them? Because in their
They shouldn't. Yeah, it shouldn't. It shouldn't be. Child support would be determined by the paying party. So if they're going to pay it, it should be up to the party who's going to pay it, whether or not they're going to pay it or not.
Well, I kind of agree with you. I think parents should kind of, because they should work that out amongst themselves. However, when you first marry someone or you first date someone, things change when things go very sour. So I think the reason why child support was put in place and the reason why it's structured the way it is to, for those people that are like, you know what, I'm gonna go raw.
Actually, child support was put into place to help women whose husbands died, along with welfare in the beginning.
Yeah.
So at this moment in time, when you got two working functional adults, if they decide to part ways, which means they want to cut ties, so it's understandable because there's a ton of reasons why somebody would want to cut ties.
Right.
You also are cutting ties financially. So you need to make sure you take that into account when you're making this decision. First of all, if I'm getting involved with this person, is this the right type of person to have that will help me take care of our child?
You kind of cutting out a little bit.
You're cutting out.
He fell all the way off. Woo. And I just want to kind of y'all know I like to Google on the spot. So it actually says Congress began the child support program to reimburse benefits paid by the government's welfare programs. So it wasn't necessarily for widows, if you will. It was the government wanted their money back. So
yeah, they didn't want to pay welfare benefits to a mother, so it was put. I'm guessing this is not. I can only speak on my experience, but from that aspect, I kind of think of the movie Claudine, where you have a woman who has children, so the government has to pay to support those children if a husband or father isn't around.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, they didn't want to be on the hook, and from what I understand too, the garnishment came, and Gloria Allred was at the helm of that because there was a lot of it just it is more women getting child support than men. Sometimes the men wouldn't pay, and so Gloria Allred helped usher in the wage garnishment because before it really wasn't there, but she helped bring that into play to guarantee that at the time, the mothers would get some support for the child. So basically they couldn't, or the other person couldn't just skip out and say, well, I'm not paying. There's like, okay, you may not want to pay yourself, but what we're going to do is we're going to reach into your paycheck and we're going to take that out and make sure that the mom or whoever, the other father gets their money. So that's what happened. So let me bring him back on here. So Truth Teller, I don't know if you heard me, but child support was actually, it says, began by Congress to reimburse the welfare program. So it really had nothing to do with widows rather. It had everything to do with the government wanting to be reimbursed for the money they spent on taking care of someone's child, the absentee, not the absentee, but the what do you call it? The non-custodial parent's child. So
right, but initially it went to when that relates to welfare, which was initially for widowed women. That's what I'm saying. You're right, it was, but they're paying back the money that was initially being given out for widowed women, but was changed for non-widowed women, and therefore the state needed to make their money back.
But welfare kind of it was there for families, like for people who needed it. You know what I mean? So right. I don't know if it was necessarily for widows. It was after
the war. Yeah. It was initiated after the war for the ladies whose husbands died in the war, to help those families. But in any case, and that was my daughter calling me, so I'm sorry I got
No
cut
worries.
off. But
Don't worry.
essentially, it's basically a system of abuse at this moment in time. The problem, the real source of the problem with the system is it doesn't even take into account the welfare of the child. All it says is the mother gets this. That's all it does at this moment in time. And I don't think it needs to be there. I get we want to make sure we take care of the kids, but we just have to be more responsible as people getting together in regards to our children. And in most cases, women want to keep control of the children. Now, if they were to change the law a little bit and say, hey, if the guy makes a lot of money, but he wants full custody of the child, so he should automatically get it, he is the father, then, we might be having a different conversation, but it doesn't work that way currently. As far as those
In your
Christmas,
system, what happens if two people disagree? Your system kind of works if both people agree on the outcome. What if they
No. My system is in the case of it doesn't matter if they agree or not, right? If the person decides not to take, if one parent who does not have custody, does not have full custody, decides that they don't want to pay support to the parent for that child, it's completely up to them. This is what I'm saying.
So let's flip it.
Mhm.
One parent wants 50-50, the other parent wants 100%.
Right.
How does that get worked? The person who wants
Then-
50-50 says,
then
I get it
50-50.
or I don't.
Right. So
don't
if both parents want some kind of custody, 50-50 automatically. Right? It doesn't
That's
matter
not
if the other
what-
parent. It doesn't matter if the other parent wants 100%. They don't have 100% ownership of the child. So if one parent does want custody and the other parent wants custody but doesn't want the other parent to have custody, they don't have that right. It's 50-50.
I think the courts have
Yes.
kind of gotten away from custody. It's now shared parental responsibility.
They're not even implementing that effectively and often enough now.
Yeah.
But yes, they're in that. I think Georgia is the biggest one that's made that move.
In
and they're
Florida,
trying to
in
go
Florida
that route.
too. It's
And
because
Florida.
yeah,
Let me
it's
actually,
shared.
put in
And
a
I'm still not seeing his.
let me put
It's
in a
very
point
cut and
where
dry.
uh-oh.
But
Yeah.
I just want.
Yeah,
Have you been?
it is.
Have you been through a divorce or a breakup after you had your kids? I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from.
Yes, I have.
Which one?
Breakup.
Breakup. Okay, so you haven't gone through a divorce in the courts. Okay, got it.
Okay.
And did you and your ex agree on custody? What you wanted to
Yes.
do?
Yes.
Okay, so how did that work out? Was it 50-50, all 100%
No.
zero, or something in between?
She was in another state with my son, and I sent her money myself.
So it was 100-0.
For the most part, he'd come visit. I would actually visit him every 3 months. I would go
So
up and
how
go up
does-
to New York, get him, bring him down, spend a month with me.
If she said she doesn't want to give you that time, how would that work in your system? That's not
I couldn't
50-50,
force
it's not
her.
100-0.
It would be
That I would
zero,
struggle
but she would be the determining factor. But
That's where the problem is,
she
it's the gray area. Some
Yeah,
guys
she has
want
all the power.
something in between.
has all the power. But I'm
You
not
get an
saying
echo.
it's with anything in between. If you have both parents that want custody, right? You can do
Different
50,
levels of
and
custody.
they can negotiate everything in between. Right. Even the court can determine 50-50 and the parents can negotiate different levels of custody between that. They both have
I don't know. That's he must have got another phone call. But I also want to put another point of correction. Al, I put the link back in there. Sorry about that. Point of correction. The welfare was not started for widows. It was started under the New Deal under FDR for poor people, people who needed governmental assistance. So y'all know I like to be factual because I don't want it to seem like it was just for moms whose husbands died. That's not what it was. So just Want to put that on out there.
If that caller comes back, here's the question I want you to come back and answer because I'm not hearing it. If the two parents don't agree, who breaks the tie? Because you're making it sound like it's easy, they'll figure it out. And I'm saying that's not the case. You need the government to step in and fix that.
All
Yeah,
right.
I'm gonna jump in here. As much as I hate to agree with that last comment, it is true. Unfortunately, without some sort of government intervention, a lot of people will just not pay. It's just the way it is. It's called society based on the way it is. If you took, and I do not like the courts. I think two people should be able to get together. The problem is when you have a breakup, there's anger, all kinds of other emotions going on. And when two people are going to court, a lot of times it's not logic. I went through a nasty divorce and I'm still dealing with some of the residual crap 20 years later. It is insane to me. Common sense just leaves the room when two people break up. So for those two to get together and say, hey, okay, I tell you what, I hate you, you hate me, but let's get together and, put together a plan for the kid. That doesn't happen. So in that situation, I think it would be good for the courts to be a mediator, get those two in the room and kind of let them hammer it out. I don't really think that they should be like, okay, here's what you got to do. And I think they should make the two human beings get together and work on it, because these two are going to have to deal with this kid for the rest of their life. 1, 2, the hell with Christmas. I think it's a scam. When Jesus shows up, call me. Santa Claus is a black man. I think that we spend too much money on gifts. The fact that we are in 2023 still talking about Christmas and Halloween and the Easter Bunny and all these pagan holidays, like no one's ever seen a rabbit. No one's ever met Jesus. No one's ever met Freddy Krueger or Michael Myers. And we spend so much money toward this crap. And most of these people don't have a pot to piss in. Do not tell me you celebrate Christmas and you don't have money in a retirement account or you don't own a piece of property. That is foolishness. And I told my kids years ago, D can be my witness, I'm not buying nothing for Christmas. I'm not shopping the day before. I ain't gonna be in there with the Chinese market, the Mexican market. I ain't gonna be in no market. I ain't getting nothing. Matter of fact, I ain't even getting the tree this year. I'm gonna give my kids time, energy, and an experience. We normally do something together. That means we can go out and I can teach them something about life. Get out of these stores spending money. And child support should be for that. Just supporting the child, making sure the kid has what they need. I agree that you should, give the kid some experience with that money, because a lot of the times the other parent does have the freedom to travel and do other things where the mom or the dad who's raising the kid doesn't get all those luxuries. So I do think the kid should be able to experience, some extras, right? Because you don't want the kid just to be on bread and water and have a roof over their head and you're out traveling. I don't really think that's fair. I think the kid should experience, this is your seed. The kid should be able to experience some of the stuff that you're going through. So, and I really think the human race has done a shitty job of taking care of their kids. You have a kid, you pay child support, period. And if you can't pay the support, well, if you have a job, you can pay something. But if you can't pay a bunch of money, how about more time? And women move to the side already. Like I know for a fact, women are when it comes to not seeing the kid and playing all these games, it's the women, the majority of them that do it. I went through it with my kids and my ex-wife. This and that, every excuse in the book not to see him so she could get more child support. Like that part needs to end.
Bring Brother Al. Let me unmute you. I muted you. Uh-oh. You say you have to unmute yourself if you can. How you doing?
Al, we need a picture behind you, man.
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. And you know what? I totally agree with Walter. And here's a.
Uh-oh. You've been on there as well. Oh, there you go.
Here's the situation. I totally agree with Walter. I concur with what he was saying. But here's the situation with a lot of men that are on child support, including myself, that we are a bunch of fucking cowards when it comes to our children. I think child support is beyond past 18 and the graduation. The sister was right. You definitely have to keep taking care of your child. I'll give you 3 situations. My oldest son, I gained custody of him. They called me the sole managing conservator. And so I had the obligation to file child support on his mother. And I neglected not to do it. My grandmother told me, "You're a bigger fool than I thought you were," because she would have got your ass. But it wasn't about the money with me, folks. It was all about his safety and his well-being. The money was going to come. My oldest daughter, I threw a party and I paid for everything. The cake, the decorations, everything. When it was time at the end of the day to pay for the party, my mother was behind me. And I was with her mother, my daughter's mother. And guess what her mother told, my mom told me, Donovan? I told the lady, I got it. Her mom was like, you don't want me to pay for nothing? I said, no, I got it. You take care of our daughter. She's making good grades. I got it. My mom was like, she should have paid for something. I had to tell my mom, you can get your nosy ass out of my business because this is our daughter. Our daughter. And so I just believe that, hey, when that money leaves your hand, fellas, it ain't on you no more. I told my youngest daughter's mom, when you get that child support, I don't give a fuck what you do, long as she's taken care of. If you go get your nails done, get her nails done too, so she can see how a lady is supposed to, how she's supposed to be, how she's supposed to react, and that kind of thing. And it's just the truth. Some ladies they'll try to get you on the child support, but you got to have a good relationship. That guy that was talking about he don't want to pay for Christmas gifts, and I'm gonna tell you something, guys. When guys get to talking like that, that's because he can't sleep with the baby mom, and she done moved on to a better man that's probably taking better care of his own children. That's the problem. And so it's a tough situation, but you got to expurgate all bullshit and just concentrate on the child.
All right. All right. I think you maybe done started something with that one. We gonna see.
But you guys, can we ask the panel a question? Why are we still, you know what? I'm just going to say it. Why are we still celebrating these holidays? Like Christmas time comes around and anytime I hear people talking about it, I never hear them say, oh, let's praise Jesus. I never hear religion talk. It's always gifts and getting together. Why do we still, it's almost like Black people voting for Democrats out of fear of harm. Why are we still worshiping, celebrating Christmas in this manner? And I know the Chinese, they have their way of doing it when it comes to holidays. They give money in envelopes and they drop knowledge. I don't understand what's so hard about us doing that. Why is it so complicated to put some money to the side or make money, I'm just gonna say what it is, make money the end all be all. You know what I'm saying? Like, at what point do you get to your life where you say, you know what, I need to take care of my family, my future. Something happens to me. Like one of my friends, she goes, is all you do is think about money? I say, pretty much. Yeah, if I'm not spending time with my kids, or even when I'm with my kids, we talk about money 95%. Matter of fact, Donna, her kid was with me. What day was that, Donna? Tuesday? Yeah, I think your daughter was here. No, it was here Monday.
Monday, yeah.
Let's get what we talked about the whole day. I gave her a list of movies and financial books to read. We talked about investment banking and career opportunities. Like, money moves the planet and it will free you. So I don't get it. Like Christmas, like pouring money into something when you should be investing for your future makes no sense to me. But yet we still do it.
I think one thing to keep in mind, and this is a rough stat, but I believe it's 70% of Americans aren't prepared for a financial emergency. So I hear what you're saying, but you're coming from the standpoint of the 30%. 70% of people don't think that way. So yes, we'd be better off if we did, but if the majority of people think differently, then the markets are going to move the way the majority of people are thinking. And that's spend money now on things that make me feel good now.
Well, no, I agree. And I think 30% is high. I really, but that would 30% would be fantastic because then we could really afford to help the other 70. But if you think like there's things you know you need to do, and as you get older and more mature, you do them, right? You know, it comes to health. You know, if you eat a Big Mac every day, you're gonna be in the grave soon. You know that you have to eventually start. You know, and you guys, and when it comes to financial independence, you don't need to have a bunch of money. I'll give you case in point. You can buy, and I talk about this all the time because I think it's a true rate of freedom. Do you realize, I don't care, especially you guys down in the South, you could get you a piece of property and you could put an RV on it and you have a place to live for the rest of your life. Something that, think about this. What if you took your housing and your transportation expense away? Just think about that for a second. Like you have a friend, she just quit her job and she's RVing the country. She's like, I quit my job. I got rid of my house, my expenses. I'm done with the pressure. I'm just going to drive around the country in my house. And I've never seen somebody more free. So what if instead of going that extreme, you just had something and then you could build something on? Like you guys down south with rivers and lakes like Texas and Louisiana, sometimes we have too much water, but you have water, like you guys have it made for 10, 15, 20, 30, 50 grand. You can get you a piece of property and it's yours forever. That is true financial independence. And then I think Home Depot has a tiny house for like 20, 30 grand. They're all over the place.
They're raising those prices though. They're around 15 grand for them now.
But think about this. What if it was 20 and you and your spouse for the next year, you each had to save $1,000 a month from your paycheck, which means you cut out spending, entertainment, the crap, and you could buy a tiny house and put it on your land, and you got a house and a piece of property for the rest of your life. Can you imagine what the world would look like? So I think those are some of the things we should beat over instead of like, ho, 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 telling kids Santa Claus is coming. If a white man come down my chimney, I'm shooting repeatedly. Now, if you have a gift, I'm going to leave him alone. You know what I'm saying? But why don't we talk more about that? Just those two simple steps I gave you will free you. Some vegetation, a couple little animals, a couple lambs. You know what I'm saying? It's a wrap. Some chickens. One of my buddy who is worth almost $5 million has a bunch of chickens. And he goes, Walter, those chickens give us eggs. 1 egg a day. We know where our food's coming from. And those chickens, they don't complain. And we don't have to go to the grocery store. And he's rich, like super rich. And he's got chickens. He's making his own food in his backyard. So why couldn't we start doing stuff like that? And then, when it comes to child support, if you're financially stable, let's say I got the mama a piece of land and I got a house for her and I put her and the kid in it. Maybe that would make our relations better. Does that make sense?
I mean, it definitely does. I think that's taken into account that you're talking about people who are reasonable. To people, because the mama might not want no land. She might be like, I want to check or whatever, but I get where you're going with it.
We could try it. Give her a chance to say, no, I don't want stability and I don't want a house. I don't want my own property. I just, if that's who we're dealing with, then that's a whole difference. She's not included in this conversation.
A lady said you couldn't be her daddy.
Who?
A lady on here.
Oh.
She said you couldn't be her daddy.
Listen, man, my kids will tell you, they don't even ask me for Christmas. Even my grandkids, I'm not getting them nothing either. I have not.
Hey, you better get tight as something.
I'll tell you.
Walter say this every year. I ain't getting nobody nothing, and then he get the grandbabies. They be having big giant kitchens and all kind of stuff. So like, knock it off.
I get sent the link.
Right.
Mama send me a link, and so sometimes the link I give into the link. But even I'm getting stronger against the Amazon links. But you ain't gonna find my black behind out the stores shopping for stuff. Oh no, those days are over. And
all Titus got to do is fall on that floor again, and
that don't work either. I'll fall for that. I mean, my kids know, and it's crazy because people will be like, I wouldn't be your kid, but like I have 6 kids, and so I want them to be in a position where they are stable. And so I drill this financial stuff into their heads repeatedly. And you know, one thing I'm finding is one at a time, they're getting their shit together. And there's nothing like being a parent and watching your kids finally listen to your advice and start to get their life going. Because you want them to be stable. And like I said, we talk about money repeatedly. My kids over here, we're on spreadsheets, we're talking money, they're working in one of my businesses. To me, I want them to be stable and not have these weak kids that we've raised. It's insane. These kids they're chilling.
Yeah, and Miss Wilson. I'm gonna say that because I want to jack your name up. But how you doing? You say people are too materialistic. Yeah, absolutely. I don't partake in holidays or anything like that. I was gonna tell y'all. So my daughter, she turned 30, her last birthday, December 26th, day after Christmas is her birthday. And so a couple of months before her birthday, I said, you know what? For your 30th birthday, I'm gonna give you $3,000. I was lying. I was joking, right? By the time this heifer's birthday was over, she probably got about a good 4,000-ish out of me. And I was like, okay, this is your last, my last time buying anything for you. Of course, that hasn't worked out either, but yeah, it really can add up. But I wanted to kind of, she's a little spoiled, so I don't want to say that. But I kind of wanted to, celebrate her 30th birthday. I don't know if it's a milestone or not. She doesn't have any children or anything like that. So that's what ended up happening. But in retrospect, it's like, yeah, I probably shouldn't have did that. But yeah, it can become quite costly. And there's a lot of other things that we can do with that money. I'm one of those people that, all right, if y'all want a present, I'll get you a book. And Walter's pretty good at getting people books. He usually, if he does do something for people, he get the whole family the same book. He'll sign it, say, here you go. And he actually gave me a book, The 4 Agreements, which, came in really handy. And I've read it several times, and I've actually gifted the book to several people myself. So, stuff like that is kind of like the gift that keeps on giving. But of course, too, because we grew up Muslim. So we weren't supposed to do Christmas, but every once in a while, my daddy was like, okay, told my mama, going to give him a couple of gifts. Because, our cousins were celebrating Christmas, and guess you kind of just didn't want to.
You're in America. It's going to happen, a little bit of that experience.
Yeah, so I could kind of see maybe like I said, I only do it for the children, like the small children. I'll get them something. Luckily, there's not too many more small children around me. But yeah, there's a lot of other things that we can be doing with that money. Getting them savings bonds and things like that. That's good for us, but for them, they're like, I don't want that. I want a Barbie, or I have one niece, my little brother's daughter. She told my daughter, because she wants $125 pair of shoes. She says, "Oh, my Tia get them for me." I'm like, these kids know me so well, huh? How you know me?
Wait, is that Puffy? Is Puffy asking 125?
Fluffy.
No, she's Puffy now. She's
Puffy,
older.
yeah, she's Poof.
Poof. The girl Poof. Okay.
Yeah. So let's see here. I was reading that. Okay, so Thunder, you say, but in all seriousness, the least we can do as men is to have life insurance. Oh yeah. And not even just men, but women too. Everybody needs life insurance. Everybody needs life insurance. Yeah, if your children don't have life insurance, or your wife, your husband, that should be under the tree. A life insurance policy, hey, right now is not very sexy. Can't really do nothing with it right now, and you don't really want to. Trust me, you don't right now. But God forbid something happens to one of us, that you'll be able to, have some good Christmases. You'll be here without me, but you'll be able to keep a roof over your head and, food on the table and that kind of stuff. But yeah, absolutely nonsense. If your family is not protected via life insurance and they got all the bells, the whistles, the clothes, the gadgets, I hate to call people stupid, but then I don't. I think that's pretty stupid of you to spend all that money on a holiday, and then when the funeral day comes, it's like, well, we're gonna have to shake the tin can and gather some money together. So let's see who else came on here. Y'all can jump in whenever you want. Black American says, well, I'm back. What did I miss? Donovan discussed. So hopefully he filled you in. And Moni, I see you had to create another page. I don't know what happened with your other page. Please, I don't know, but I'm glad that you're here. And you also say, I may not agree with Christmas because it's a beautiful fairy tale. But at the end of the day, the mother should be working to make sure her and her child is living a beautiful area. And is that dads must help. Okay, got you. Michael says, you talk about tiny houses, then how many children should parents have? Oh, you should think about space. Well, obviously, if you got a bunch of kids, you're probably not going to be living in no tiny house. That's more ideal for probably somebody, that's by themselves or with one other person. But I mean, you actually be surprised how much space you actually don't use, in a house.
And when I say tiny house, I don't mean like a tiny house. I mean something more modular, something you can build. Like I have a friend, and they go to Mexico once a month, and they get together and they build a house in a weekend. About 50 of them go out, and they build a house over the weekend for these cats in Mexico. So something like that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these homes you can buy, they sell kits. You can buy a kit and you can literally hire a contractor or some handyman, and they can put this house together. They sell the kits online, the modular homes. So just something like that. And again, I think we're getting away from the strategy. The strategy is to create absolute freedom. Everybody listening to this thing right now, I want you to imagine that you had a piece of property and you put something on it, something small, and it was yours. Like I have this property in Joshua Tree, 5 acres, and I've been going nuts about the big house and this. And finally, I was like, I'm just going to put a little tiny house on it, give it an address, and call it a property. So it went from $400,000 to build to $50,000 for this, this modular home. And it's a wrap. It's an address. And now you have 5 acres in California. You have a physical address with water and electricity. Bam, it's a wrap. So no matter what happens, if Joe Biden gets elected again, I got a place I can go live. I can just need some small animals, some water, and some vegetation. And that's it. We can all do that, especially if you're down south where it's a lot cheaper. Matter of fact, anywhere to the east, outside of New York, for the most part, is going to be cheaper.
Yeah, me sweet talks. You say, rich auntie got her niece shoe, rich nothing. They just know I love the kids. She'll put stuff into the little Amazon thing, talking about, I don't want this. It usually doesn't cost that much, so I'll send it to her or whatever. She's in middle school. She's a pretty good kid, so I don't mind doing that kind of stuff for her. But rich auntie, not yet.
Well, let me ask a question of this. How many of you guys have heard the Mary J. Blige story? I guess she was at Essence or something, or she was somewhere, and she was complaining about how unfair it is that she has to pay spousal support and child support, whatever it is her situation with her ex is. All the women were high-fiving that and saying, yeah, that's right. And Mary J. Blige out of her own mouth said, it is, the shame, just to shame the man. Oh, a man shouldn't take any child support from a woman. Now, here's where I'm going with that. If women are feeling that way and seeing how unfair it is, and I'll be the first to tell you, I think what happened to Mary J. Blige is unfair. It is an unfair situation. But when the situation is reversed, why is it that it's okay to drag this man and he has to do this and he has to do that, but when the same principle is applied reversibly to the woman, it's outrageous? Could somebody, one of the ladies, please explain that to me?
Well, I agree with you. What happened to Mary J. was messed up. But I'm going to look at Halle Berry, because Halle Berry, that is her child that she has to pay. And I have no issue with that, because she had a child with one guy and had to pay him a mint, and she went out and she had another child. So that's on her.
Sounds like a man, but go ahead.
Yeah. So that's on her. So if a woman has the capacity to, and she decides to get with a man that his income doesn't match hers or whatever, and that is the end result, that is the end result. So I'm not mad at that. A situation like Mary J. Blige, though, I do kind of feel a way about it because she's paying support for children that aren't her children.
But men are doing the same thing. Men are doing
That's
the same
why-
thing. In a
why
bunch
is it
of
unfair?
situations, the DNA proves he is not the father, but they say it's in the interest of the child, he should continue to pay.
Well, actually, I'll
could be
speak
on-
to that.
Wait. I could be on death row. I could be on death row, and DNA will get me off. It will get me exonerated. But in child support, it won't, because I
In
didn't
child-
meet a certain time.
Exactly. So here it is. Child support, the way it is if a woman has a child and you're together, and that child, you have 2 years to do a DNA test to establish paternity. If you have not established paternity after that 2-year period, now you're financially responsible.
No, we know
for
the
that.
technicality of it. But what I'm saying is, I've been on death row for 7 years. The DNA has proved I am not the father. Why should I continue to pay? What we're talking about is fair equity. We know it's not right to hold somebody accountable for a child that he had nothing. He didn't get no parts of the DNA. You see what I'm saying? He didn't get no parts of it. So how can we sit here and say, well, he had 2 years to do it, and if he didn't do it in 2 years, you know what I'm saying? You guys know it's not fair. And until women step up and men step up and say, you know what, we've got to tweak these laws to make it fair and accountable to the technology we have today.
But
What's
that
wrong
goes
with
back. That goes
What do you
back
think?
to your. I forgot whose previous point is when you're choosing someone, because he chose a woman. Me as a woman, I would never put a man through that. If that wasn't his child, I wouldn't be in that situation. But anyway, I would not put a man through being financially responsible for something that was not his. This man got with a woman that did not have that moral compass to say, you know what, I'm not going to put you through that.
Right, but let's forget all that. It doesn't matter how I feel. It doesn't matter how you feel. The man is not the father. Why does he have to continue to pay? That is just not a fair system. My life is on the line. I've been accused of murdering somebody. I'm going to be put to death in 30 days. The DNA comes through. I've been exonerated. That makes sense. He wasn't there. He wasn't the killer. Here's a guy, lady alleges he's the father. The DNA says he isn't. Why should he continue to pay? Shouldn't you go after the real father?
Well,
You know,
let me jump in here because I hear what Donovan is saying. Yeah, it's double standard completely, and it's not fair. But I don't think all people think. I would say all women. I don't think all women think that it's fair that a man Alaska man have to go. Thank you so much for being here with us. There's a lot of women that don't think it's fair that a man gets put on the hook for child support for a child is not his. But like Donna said, Mary had a different set of circumstances. I mean, the dude really was, and I know there's women that try to get a bag out of men too. So I'm not saying that when I'm saying this about Mary, but Mary's circumstances is not like Hallie's. Mary really was getting taken, to the cleaners for children that wasn't hers. He wanted her to pay for his parents $5,000 a month. He wanted her to pay for rental properties and stuff that he had, grocery bills and all this stuff. Now, mind you, he was cheating on her with their talent. A woman that she's young, I don't know, maybe 20-ish, young woman that was their talent. So he's cheating on her, with this lady that Mary thought that they were, going to sign and all this other stuff. So he's spending all this money on her to the point where Mary ended up having to live with Jimmy Iovine. She had to stay with Jimmy Iovine because she was homeless. Like they literally put her out of the house. She was homeless, did not have any money, really got taken to the bank. And this dude was wanting all of that from her, even though, she took care of him and all that other stuff. So I get what you're saying, Donna, but it's a different set of circumstances. Like Donna said, Hallie, yeah, she signed.
No. But see, you guys are missing it. I'm going to cut you off. Wait. My whole point is we know this system is rigged depending on how you use it. It's not fair. I said that. It's not fair for what happened to Hallie. What I'm saying is, why aren't women on board with men to say, you know what? This system is messed up because a person can weaponize it against this person and take it way left or way right, whatever they want to do. Let's make it fair across the board because The analogy of Mary J. Blige, there are men that go through the same exact
Okay,
thing.
but to your point though, there are women that are on board with men
Yeah.
that's saying it's not right. There's a lot of women, but again, a lot of times we take these little things up off the internet and think that's real life. But I know a lot of most of the women I know wouldn't think it's cool that a man gets raked over the coals for child support. Matter of fact, I don't even know.
Can I say something?
Wait, hold on, Black America. How you doing, by the way?
Hello.
So I do know a woman or two that thinks it's fashionable to do that to a man, but most of the women I know, they don't think that's cool to do. So again, I think we really need to give it proper context. It's not all women. I don't even think it's most women who I think is cool. So yeah, it's not fair for either party to go through.
Let's redo the child support laws and get it up to standard, right?
But,
that's what we're saying.
But however, let me say this, Donna, real quick. As a lady said, and she's 100% right, women didn't make those child support laws. Men made those child support laws. That's not a woman. That's not a woman.
Those child support laws. Simp men made those child support laws.
But how many women made those child support laws?
Let's see. I think half of the people, half of them.
If that's men are the hell with that.
1994 child support overhaul. There was a bunch of women on that committee that did that. I'm not saying that they were the majority. I'm saying there was a significant amount of them. There was.
Okay, but again, those laws, I agree. Some of the laws, probably a lot of them need to be changed. As I always tell you, I was caught up erroneously in the child support system too. So I know what it's like.
That wasn't erroneous. They got you.
No, erroneous.
The laws are antiquated, and I think the reason why it's so slow to make changes to that, because from a government standpoint, what they're looking at is they don't want to be on the hook. So they would be willing for anybody else to be on the hook except them. That's why it hasn't changed.
Right. But the fact of the matter is there are several men that have been adjudicated the fathers and they're not the fathers. And they think about it. I already have children. This one made an allegation. You're taking money out of my family for a child that I don't even know you, lady. I don't even know you. But I've been adjudicated for and I'm saying that because when I was in the military, that happened a lot. He didn't show up because the guy's in a sub underneath the water for 3 months. And he couldn't make it to the child support system. And, we can go on and on and on, but the system needs to, like you said, come back and, upgrade it.
And let me say this too. Facts and Feelings, how you doing? And in Black America, I'm going to let you get in after this. And hello to everybody that came on here. I am reading the comments. You say, peace and love, family. Donovan, don't waste your time. Most women don't care about fairness when it comes to men. Women just we men have to get passports and leave to a place where this is not done to men. Well, I mean, yeah, but regardless of where you go, if you make babies, you got to take care of them. Whether you here, you're there, you're on the moon, you got to take care of these babies.
And the government has actually thought of that. That's
she froze up.
Why men are in child. But yeah.
Black America, what you got on the conversation?
Hello and good day to all. Good afternoon. How's everybody?
We're wonderful.
Good. All right. And you know what? I liked Miss Donna until I heard her child support story. I mean, she was one of my favorite people until I heard she was making a bunch of bread and she had a kid in private school and wanted to charge her baby daddy because he made good money too.
No, let me correct you. I didn't want to charge him anything.
Well,
and
you were saying that he should pay child support though, right?
Well, no, what I'm saying, and here's where things you need context. I didn't throw out the whole line of it, but we were married. Let's start with that. We were married.
Uh-huh.
While we were married, we had established a lifestyle. The kid was
okay.
In private school. The kid was in private school. At the time, our last two kids were in private school, and we were contributing to that. Now we parted ways. We were separating assets. Based on the income chart, I was eligible for alimony, and I declined that because, like I said, I made good money.
Right.
They did the the child support guideline based of our income, because in the state of Florida, I can't speak for everyone else, they use a table. What's your income? What's his income? What's your expenses? What's his expenses? And based off that,
I'm familiar with it.
Okay,
They do the
okay.
same thing all over the country.
Okay,
This is
all right,
this is
so-
the
Wait,
problem
let me
that I
finish.
have.
Let me finish.
Okay,
'cause
go ahead.
You formed
Go
an
ahead.
opinion. And so when we first decided, we had agreed upon a child support amount. And I forgot which gentleman was there that said, men are okay until they feel there's another man in the picture. So there's a lot of truth to that. So we agreed on an amount. He decided he wanted to change that, and he took me to court. He took me to a court to establish visitation and custody. And while we were in court, they allotted that he had to pay me $1,800 a month, which was more than what we agreed upon initially. And he got unhappy about that. He went and he paid an attorney, which when I looked at the end of the day, the amount that we probably spent more than 40 grand combined, that could have been put toward our daughter. That was a waste. But anyway, he went to court, he spent a lot of money, and then he dissolved his businesses and said he had no employment, he had no income coming in. And that's how it got down to $150. And when it got down to that, I wasn't looking for more than that, because, if you don't want to pay, you don't want to pay, that's you. And I took that and we rode with that, and my daughter's, their quality of life never changed. But don't say I wanted more money. He didn't want to pay more money, and that was on him.
Let me in Black America. Let me jump in. Common Man, how you doing? I just want. I'm gonna give it to you. I swear. I just want to just kind of read this. This actually comes from Congress. It says 1950. The federal child support enforcement legislation was Public Law 81-734. The Social Security Act amendments of 1950, which added section blah 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 to Social Security. Such as legislation requires state welfare agencies to notify appropriate law enforcement officials upon providing aid to families with dependent children, AFDC, to a child who was abandoned or deserted by a parent. Also that year, the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Law and the American Bar Association approved the Uniform Reciprocal Enforcement of Support Act. So I'm just saying this because, we keep pushing this narrative that women were doing this. Is the government that did that. The government wanted their money back. And what they said was for the parent, so that would be the non-custodial parent as we know it today. If the government is footing the bill for whatever parent that has the child, then the non-custodial parent needed to be put on child support. So it was a Congress thing. It was not women. As I said before, Gloria Allred, y'all know her, famous lawyer. Some call her ambulance chaser and, women's rights champion. Y'all can do what you want with that. But she actually spearheaded that with women to get it garnished, get the wages garnished, because while child support was imposed upon the non-custodial parent, in a lot of cases, the man, he still was not paying. And so the women were like, we are allotted the child support. He's just not paying. And so that's when the garnishment came into play. And I think that was maybe the 80s, maybe 90s, or somewhere around there. Don't quote me. But so, because I know it's kind of like an emotional topic, but I think we should be as factual as we can. This wasn't like a bunch of women running up and down the street, burning crosses, talking about let's get child support. The government, Uncle Sam, did that. So I just want to put that out there. But how you doing anyway, by the way? Okay, Black America, come on with it.
Tell me why you don't like me, Black America.
And tread lightly.
Now, I did not say I didn't like you. Now you better stop it. Now you don't. I don't like feminists. Anyway, hey Demetra. So the problem with if you want to assume custody of the kids, then you should take full responsibility of the kids. I don't. If a father isn't paying child support or doesn't pay his child support, that looks bad on him. But if you want money for said child, once you guys separate, just like you said, you started separating and divorcing, and you're moving this and you're moving that. Kids are a really touchy subject because they belong to both of us. They don't just belong to you. And I shouldn't have to pay it if I can't have you anymore and you can't have me anymore, vice versa. I'm not waking up, get to smack you on your ass in the morning while you making eggs. You don't get anything. What? I didn't say nothing bad. I'm just talking about, how you be doing that. Come on, Miss D, a little smack in the morning. Hey,
sometimes Black America, I think about you as I'm lying in my bed, and don't take it that way.
I know you do. Don't worry. Don't trip. Don't trip. I know you do. It's hard not to. I'm that kind of man that you hate and want at the same time.
Oh, you know what? You better be happy
I'm 100% sure of it.
I had a whole bunch of words going through my head.
And some of them are oh God, don't stop. But anyway,
the N-word, a couple N-words was one of them.
I've been called that before. Sometimes
I think, is he trolling us? Is Black America a troll?
No. All right. So if I can't have access to your body, you can no longer have access to my money.
Lord,
if you feel like you want something for the kids, or it's private school is not mandatory because there is public school, and I understand past practice, well, they were already doing it. They should continue to do it. If I can't have any coochie anymore, I should still continue to be able to get coochie.
Okay,
because you done said that word before. You said it before.
Wait. Okay, but wait a minute. Hold on.
Can I say puss?
No, you can't even say that. No. Wait a minute now, Black America. I'm really strongly thinking you trolled it, but hold on a second.
No, I'm telling the truth though.
Wait. Can I speak, please? Speaking
100%.
I say hello to Donovan's cat. Okay. I can hear what you're saying, but sometimes you come off rather strongly. And I don't think anybody on here. Walter, where you at? Walter probably went to sleep some damn where. I know Walter. Walter and Donovan.
I'm here. I'm just
okay. Black America, I just want you to put it on ice for just a second. Just put it on ice, okay? Because did y'all hear what he said?
I heard what he said about the coochie.
Okay, y'all ain't got to keep repeating that word now. Okay. Now, do y'all agree with that, Walter? I'm gonna ask you. Do you agree that if you ain't getting the nether regions, then she shouldn't get your money?
I think the C word and the kids are separate. I mean, here's my take on it, and I'm I have a very strong opinion about this. If you have a kid, it is your job, you and the other person, to raise this kid together. That means you both pitch in financially, you both pitch in mentally, physically. And I don't think ending in the relationship, I disagree that the kid should go with the mom or you getting weekends. I don't agree with that model. It's flawed. But the kid isn't a willing participant in this. So if the mama take off or the daddy take off, they should both contribute to this child. It's well, I don't want to use welfare, but it's well-being. That means they both pitch in financially and pay. I hate my kid's mother, but I still took care of them, and I still do. Lord have mercy. Somebody said, who's the brother that said when they get 18 it don't end? Donovan, I think you said that. It don't end. Man, my 30-year-old daughter sent me a text today about getting to hook up some stuff for her car. It don't ever end. You know what I'm saying? You should always participate in your kid's life. I just think our society as Black people has crumbled because we don't we don't tie in with our kids, and like our roots are broken. So it's bad enough we don't have roots, but then we don't pour water onto the existing plants and our kids. I just think it's insanity. So I think, and I don't like doing it, but I think if you have kids, it's your job to contribute to their lifestyle until they can figure it out, assuming that they are making an effort to do it. And I don't think child support ends at 18. Honestly,
Life or lifestyle? Life or lifestyle?
I mean, when I say lifestyle, I mean so they can take care of themselves. I don't mean like the cars, and I just mean like they can take care of themselves. Like my my son Christopher, he's doing a couple things. He's making good money now. But like me and him constantly having the same conversation about money. Here, why don't you do this? What you need? Here I come to the rescue financially. You know what I'm saying? All my kids. So, and it doesn't end. I took food, not that they needed it, but my grandson, his mom, Titus, was sick. I took her food. I actually moved down the street from them a couple of days ago. So I took them food because she was sick. You know what I'm saying? They don't need the money, the food, but I just was contributing since I was there and she wasn't feeling well and I lived down the street. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm making is it doesn't ever end. You should always be there for your kids, regardless of how stinky the mama is or how grouchy the dad is. You should always be there for that kid. And I think if we had a society of men that were like, the mama she got the coochie stain or whatever you want to say about her, I'm going to take care of my kid. That's just me though. So I might have 50 lashes coming back. But
you know what? Hold on one second.
Wait. Now, if you're gonna say something,
please.
Silly, don't.
I'm not. This is just a yes. This is just a yes or no question. Walter, if you and a girl break up, are you going to contribute financially to her life?
No. The kids, yes. Not her. Not a damn
Donovan, if you and a woman part ways and separate, are you going to contribute financially to her life?
No.
Okay, there you go. All right, go ahead. Say what you're gonna say, Miss D.
So Donovan, I wanted you to also respond to that.
Well, and I'm going to keep mine short. I agree with Black America, and this is why I agree with him. If you are doing your parenting like you're supposed to, and everybody's going to parent different, that's what makes this country so damn great. Everybody parents different. With my children, I gave them all of the tools that they need by the time they were ready to graduate high school. Once they went on to college, I am there to advise them and pick them up just a little bit when they need it. But I had boys, so my little stance on the men is a little bit different. When my kids got a degree with no debt and graduated, I'm done. They have all of the tools. And that's why I think a lot of people, they kind of go above and beyond longer than what they need. And then when the kid is partying or on the drugs or the baby comes, then it's a lifelong thing, or it's longer than it needs to be, in my opinion. But I told my boys straight out, once they graduated high school and the government said that they're adults at 18, hey, I don't take care of no damn grown men, just like it was told to me.
But I'm saying specifically, wait. Specifically, what Black America said, that if you ain't getting what the woman got,
I agree.
So if you ain't getting she shouldn't get the money.
Using the basic common sense, if I'm not getting this, why are you still in my pocket?
I'm saying, but he's saying child support for a child.
I believe every man should take care of their child. But what I'm saying is, when she wants to do the private school and all this extra stuff, no. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing any of that to sustain her lifestyle. I'm not doing it.
I agree with that. Her life is over when she leaves. I need to make sure the kid is straight. No more Dooney and Burke. We just take care of the kids.
Yeah, she can't go on no more vacations because the job she has doesn't sustain it. When we were together, we were going on vacations. But now we've broken up. I'm not supporting that anymore. There's no more of this. It's done.
Because with what I understand, he said he's not, and Black America, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't want to misquote you. No child, no kitty cat, no child support, right? Is that what I thought I heard you say?
Yeah, I agree with
No.
him in theory,
Okay.
if that's what he said, but
Let
reality,
me
no,
explain.
it's not gonna happen.
Let me explain a little bit. Let me bring a little bit more clarity to it. Now, Miss Donna has a lifestyle, okay? And Miss Donna likes her lifestyle. She doesn't want to compromise or change said lifestyle because she has separated from her other part of her income. All right. And no other man is just going to come in and foot the bill for that income. Now, if she was paying $100 for lights, now she is totally responsible for that light. See, the dads still are going to buy the cleats. We're still going to buy the basketballs. We're still going to have to come to the stupid dance recitals. We're going to have to still do all of these things. Okay. So there is still money coming out of the dad without the government or with the government even being implemented into your life. So what I'm saying is, if you want to keep up these things, bite the bullet and stay with your dude and shut up. These women are having kids by multiple men, and men too. Me too. I'm gonna hold my hand the highest. I'm gonna hold my hand the highest.
My eyes got about that big. I'm glad you.
But it's not like, okay, so when I came home, Miss D, I went and got all my kids because I'm sufficient. Okay. I went and got all my kids, even the one that was 3 years old at the time, who she's 26 right now, right? So I went and gathered up all my children. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about women that are going out and having kids, like multiple men, getting 17.5 to 21% of their gross income from each different man and sustaining a lifestyle off of it. You see what I mean? And then
I do get. I absolutely agree. But I want to say this too. Okay. Now, I'm sure Donna didn't tell us all the situation, but because I hear you say her lifestyle, this, that, and the other, it ain't tricking if you got it. I mean, if he had it and they agreed on that, I mean, what's the big deal?
The big deal is the big deal is, if I'm no longer there and we're no longer together, you get nothing else from me.
Well, that's
you
right.
are no. You as the woman, if the kid need food, father send their kids food. We heard a story earlier this year or maybe last year where the dad, the lady had ran off and left her kids, and the dad was sending DoorDash to the food to the little girl, daddy, we hungry, this, that, and the other, all the way from California to Texas. But once it started to be a whole week of it, he jumped his ass on the plane because he was like, what's going on? Where your mama at? You know what I mean? The mama is in Louisiana or somewhere with another guy. Dads, that's what dads do. We make sure our kids are going to eat. We make sure that you're going to have cleats or basketball shoes for your games. We are going to do those things. But when you're talking about, okay, I got to pay child support, and then on top of that, I got to pay football registration also. Then I also pay child support, and then I got to pay for you to go to Washington on a school field trip and things like that, or up to Berkeley, for instance, for my daughter. Like, dads do those things. So if we're not together, you as the woman are no longer, my money is no longer available to you.
I mean, so I get that. I get that, heard stuff or whatever that, is outside of it, unless it's alimony, right? Because if you're married, you get alimony, that's a different story. So I get that. I get, you're paying child support or whatever, and her lifestyle. And I hear that a lot. Men say women are using the child support money on hair and nails and fancy vacations. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know you could do all that with $50. I'm just playing. I'm just kidding. So yeah, I agree with that. But yeah, as far as if I'm not getting something from you, I thought that's what you meant. child support. You're not getting child support if I can't lay down with you. I thought that's what you were saying.
Yeah, well, you don't have access to my money if I can't have none. Can I say something bad to Walter right quick?
Wait, but I want to be clear. You're saying child support is a different story. You're saying the money for her, she needs to be putting out, right? Not the child support.
Yes. Yeah, once again, the dads are still going to buy the cleats. If Donovan and his wife were separated, he's still, on top of paying child support, he's paying a ridiculous amount of child support. He's still going to buy basketball shoes. He's still going to send them money for them basketball boot camps and traveling and stuff like that. He still did that stuff. So instead of paying $1,500 or $1,800 or $2,400 a month, he's shelling out another $400 or $500 every month on top of doing the child support. Where is the rest of that money going?
I mean, we've had this conversation before. I mean, depending on how much you're giving, and we did this the last time we talked about this, that the average child support payment comes to like $430, $40 or something like that. So if that's the average payment, sometimes, it's not enough. I don't know. And I'm sure there's people who's getting less. I'm sure there's people who's getting more. But let me ask you, because it sounds like you pay some extra stuff. Walter, have you ever paid anything extra outside of child support?
Hell yeah, all the time. All the
Donovan?
time. I still do it.
Well, yeah. If the couple isn't together, who do you think's paying for the plane tickets for the kid to come out to fly and get back? That's usually the father. You know what I mean? So yeah, of course I'm paying, things that I want to pay, I'm going to pay. But a good better example, ladies, and everybody's situation is different, but in all my friends that I know, if the father is out of state or in a different area, he pays for the child to travel to and from. I don't know any woman that pays for the travel to and from.
Yeah, and ladies,
I don't think that women understand it, because it's not something that you guys are immersed in. You guys aren't in the barbershop or the trenches with men, hearing this and listening to this on a daily basis. This is kind of a discussion that men have on a regular basis, so you guys aren't privy to this part of our lives. So when you hear this, you're flabbergasted and floored, like, that's not true. That doesn't happen. It is 100% absolute. It's 100% true, and people, he's a deadbeat daddy. Well, I mean, if he's blessed to have a good job and do more, a dad does more. I mean, it costs, if you got 2 or 3 kids, it's going to cost you $30 to go to McDonald's right now. You know what I mean? Let's not talk about a Disneyland trip or taking somebody to the zoo, or any other kind of enjoyment a movie. Good Lord, how much is the movies now? You know what I mean? So you guys don't see it. You guys have a skewed view, and women will not get behind changing the child support law, because the majority of the women want the power of the children. If you have a problem financially, give the kids to the dad. It's just
I'm gonna insert right here, because I've been waiting to make this point, because we've said throughout this discussion that whoever has custody of the child should be financially responsible. So I'm gonna throw it out there. What about when neither one of them want to be responsible? Because I've mentored kids before where they've bounced from house to house to house because the mama wasn't getting no money, so she ain't want them. The daddy didn't want to take care of them, so they're with the grandmother, and they go from the grandmother to the auntie to the uncle. So, what happens in those situations now?
You want my honest opinion, or you want the good YouTube version of it?
Your opinion with YouTube in mind.
My opinion with YouTube is mine. You send them to a work camp.
I said your opinion with YouTube in mind. There's certain things we can't.
Okay. Okay. That's what I'm giving you. You send them to a work camp so they can learn to do. Yes, you send them to a work camp so they can learn to do a trade, a job, drive trucks, plumbing, electrician, lighting. If they're smart, then they can go into a STEM field or something like that. Because without any direction, we all know where they're going to end up, is either in prison or dead. So with that being said and that in mind, I'm sorry, I'm a socialist. So what I want is what's best for us as a whole, as a group. That's why I wanted to come up so bad so I could cuss out you and Donovan. I got some smoke for Walter today, but
Right.
So let me ask you, who funds the work camp? Who pays for this?
Taxpayer, as always.
they pay for prisons. When I was in prison,
I got the answer for both of you. Years ago, it used to be it was almost mandatory 2-year military service. That is the biggest vocational training you're going to get. And if we went back to something like that, you wouldn't have so many wayward guys that have no skills. It's compulsory military service. And
that's a good idea. That's a good idea. But what if we're dealing with kids that wouldn't qualify under a military scale? They have some kind of disability.
Well, that's where you have the junior colleges and stuff like that. Because like I said, I know people say, well, things are different now. Hey, if there's a blueprint that works, and it worked 50 years ago, it worked 60 years ago, especially when it comes to the family structure, it can work today. Because we already know single motherhood is not working in our community. It's not working. We know that. We need families. We need families in our community. We need the father in the home. We know these things. So what I'm saying is, hey, let's go back there and give these guys a skill. I mean, I get upset when I see young men sitting on the corners and I say, well, I see these migrants or these, Mexicans or whatever in my neighborhood, and they could put on roofs. I got a neighbor right now with his bare hands that just put up a wall. These people are traded up. They know how to do something.
I agree with you on that, Donovan. These men need skills, but I'm gonna tell you this, and y'all ain't gonna like this. Walter, who taught you how to fix cars?
Oh, my father. My father taught me most of the stuff I use today.
And right, so he didn't. But point that I'm making, I know we talk. Vocational school. I think it's a must, right? Sometimes I think about going back. I'm gonna be a plumber, right? I'm gonna show up and be a plumber. We need people to know how to do that stuff, but like my brother said, my daddy taught him how to fix cars. So while we were advocating, because I would rather advocate for our sons and
families.
To learn those skills from their daddies, their granddaddies, before they going into the military. And for my brother and I, the military wasn't an option because our father was not having it. My dad himself was a conscious objector, right? He did not go. He was drafted to Vietnam War, but he didn't go. For obvious reasons or whatever. So I think that should be skills that's taught by your daddy. So that's how I agree with you. Bring the daddy back in the fold and start teaching these young men skills. Period.
We have a problem with that though. I'm gonna tell you a little bit. No, I'm gonna tell you 100%. This is 100% story. So one of my kids' mothers, she got mad because she got cut off, right? Your house is paid for, your cars is paid for, and then you're going to put me on child support. You work at Al Phillips, the cleaner. So we all know how long ago that was, okay? You work at Al Phillips, the cleaners, but you want to go and put me on child support. All right. I tell my girlfriend, cut her off. She doesn't get any more money. Let her fend for herself if she thinks she's that bad. So then she jumps up and leaves state with my kids. I didn't know where she was for years. For many years, I didn't know where she was with my kids until she got her butt in a knot and then called, Daddy, I need to come back. So when you have women that do things like that, and it's loads of women that do things like that. I know none of you two. Nothing. It's never anybody on these panels that would do it, but it's loads of women that do take the kids away from the man to where they can't see and pour into the child any of those things that they need to learn for a crucial time set.
I get you. You know what? I know men that's happened to too. I know women that has happened to, but I'm gonna say this. Now I know this is kind of hindsight, it's 2020 speak. But that's why, as much as you can, as they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice. And I always say this to my friends who are not married and they're going through, because I learned this the hard way, okay? That my friends that are not married and maybe they've broken up and they got a child, go and get some sort of paperwork, maybe not child support necessarily, unless y'all could work that out, but some sort of legal custody. Because if whoever the child is with, in most states, whoever the child is with and there's no paperwork, then that parent can take the child wherever they want. Then the other parent that doesn't have the child yet, they got to go to the courts, they got to find them, serve them, take them to court and get custody. So I say that because I've seen that happen to a lot of people where they didn't have any custody after they broke up and one parent took off with the child, and it was hell trying to find the child, trying to get, custody. So get custody, say, hey, you know what? We're not going to work out. So I can make sure you don't run off with the child. I don't run off with the child. Let's go to court and get some sort of paperwork. We can agree with us and go get it in writing, get it stamped by the court. That way we are held responsible by the law because at that time it's kidnapping if you go against the court order. So that's the advice that I have, because I've seen that go wrong a million times. And it's not, and I can hear somebody saying, oh, what if the mama don't want to do it? Well, if you hit her with paperwork, she don't have a choice. Here's your court date. We're going to show up.
Ms. D, that's not true. None of what you just said is true. I'm sorry.
Wait, stop. What you're not going to do, Black Americans, call me a liar. Now, we cool and everything, but I'm going to tell you like this. I have a 30-year-old daughter, and I went through the same stuff with my daughter's father, and I'm speaking from experience. So so don't call me a liar. I know what I'm talking about. And
you are a woman.
Wait. I've seen this happen with men and women. Don't matter. Donovan, you got a story of somebody that happened to. So and then they have to go and fight and get their child because the person ran off with another state. So I know what the hell I'm talking about. But if you got paperwork on your child, both parents, then they can run. But when the law catches up to them, then they're going to be held responsible more than likely. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, here in California, a part of the basic child support order now is codified into the child support law. Once the parents are adjudicated, whoever the custodial parent is cannot take that child out of the state without the other parent's permission.
That's the same in Florida too.
Yeah, so I mean, it's the same pretty much everywhere. So that's what I'm saying is, Black America, is get some paperwork on your child if you and the mom or the dad ain't gonna be together, so you can make sure you don't have to spend a bunch of money trying to get custody or find your child. That's all I'm saying. And I don't even think that even needs to be an argument. It's just a fact. I'm in Notorious Hebrew.
Okay.
My son's father was whining about $300 a month. Took me back to court to lower child support, and the judge raised it. $1,100. Tricked his own ass into paying more. Yikes.
No, this is what I'm saying. In most times, the courts favor the women. Can we agree that at least 80%?
Wait, but you having an apples and oranges conversation right now. Because see, one thing I don't like to do, Black America, is move the goalposts. I'm not saying that the court does not favor the women. I've never said that's not the case. I've never, ever not say that. I know, you know how many men I know personally that's in my family and good friends of mine have been dragged through the child support system, through the court system erroneously. So I know a lot, and I'm actually an advocate for men that happens to. My nephew was one of them just recently. So don't miss me. We don't know what we talk about. So, but that's not what I was saying. What I was saying is get some paperwork, the mother or the father. That way, if somebody runs, then you can hold them responsible legally. That's all I'm saying. All that other stuff as far as women having more favor in the court, yeah, I know that. But those are two different arguments. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so are you ready to listen now?
It depends on what you're saying.
Okay, so you just have to listen. If a woman says, hey, I have the kids, I have full physical custody. Okay, we do have some paperwork, but I need to move to Oregon for a job. Okay, I'm getting transferred. I have to move to Oregon for the job. That also cuts the father out of the life. That's all I'm saying, Miss D, is when the courts do.
You gotta move or she gotta move.
No, if either parent. if either parent has to move that has custody of the kids, I'm talking about full physical custody, because you're going to have, like in Donovan's case, those kids lived with their mother. So they had a custody agreement, but she had, even if he had 50% custody, she had full physical custody. Am I wrong, Donovan? Because your boys are about the same age as mine. I'm right, right?
Yeah, well, that happens in a lot of cases, but what's your point?
The point is, if the mother gets a wild hair up her behind, she can still do slick stuff and leave. That's all.
True. That's true.
No, well,
She can.
if you have paperwork, she has to get the permission of the court to move. Whether it's a job or whatever reason, they have to go before court, and she has to plead how this is going to be in the best interest of the child, and a judge has to agree to that. And I'll tell you this right now, a judge might not necessarily agree to that, because a judge may look at it as, from your standpoint as a father, the father is going to get cut out of this child's life, so it's not in the best interest of the child.
Yeah, I've never, I'm not saying it never happens. I've never heard of that happening in a real life situation or circumstance.
Right here.
Listen, what and so let's ask this question. Are you like a regular woman?
What?
Are you like a regular woman? Are you and Ms. Demetra?
Nothing regular about her.
Okay.
Exactly. So you are the unicorn. So you can't use yourself. That's what I'm saying. You're not a regular woman. So you can't use yourself as any kind of goalpost.
But we agree with you. We are agreeing with you. That's why I'm trying to figure out where the point is.
No, there's no point of contention. She just said that she wasn't able to move. And what I was saying was, she's not a regular woman. If you have a man and or a woman, you guys aren't the same type of women. You see what I mean? Your situation and your circumstances and how things happen and work out and deal with you guys are not the same type of woman as Keisha down the street that got on booty shorts.
In Black America, you know I love you, and I always say this to y'all: stop.
Was it the booty shorts?
Stop messing with Keisha down the street.
Yeah.
Stop messing. Wait, hold on.
No, you mean dingbat. Go ahead.
The dingbat. Stop messing with the dingbat down the street. Stop messing with the woman you know got 11 baby daddies already. You see what I'm saying? It could all be so simple. It really could be, but it's like, I don't know.
All my kids, I'm the first baby daddy. And then they started having children and once again, then except for one, then they had kids by multiple men.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna give you guys a science lesson. I thought I had a little plug or something. Okay. Let's pretend this is a female part and this is a male part. Okay. When you put them together, they may make a baby. You know what I'm saying? So the point that I'm making to that is, if you laying down with somebody, you laying down with Keisha with the 20 baby daddies. You don't want to be with Keisha. You don't want to spend your 18, 22 years, depending on what happened in the courts with her. Don't lay down with Keisha. That is the best.
That is the silliest advice you could ever give a man. Do you know men used to have sex with goats and manatees?
Black America, you was doing so well. Hold on 1 second, okay? Because we're going to bring some logic here, and then we about to get off of here because, listen, I've been up since 3 in the morning, okay? That's the best child support repellent that you can use. Use this first before you use that. Because when you use this first, then you're going to be paying out a whole lot lot of money to big booty Keisha with the 20 baby daddies, and then you're gonna be on here crying and complaining about the child support system. Listen, I've never ever said child support system was fair to men. I've never said that. But I'm telling y'all, men, I've said this for years, and Donovan can back me up on this. If you don't want to pay child support, then put your little Peter back in your pants and keep it pushing. It's really that simple. Now, Black America, you can spare me the details of how you don't have no self-control and the booty is calling your name. You can spare me all of that. I'm just telling you, I really do think it's that simple.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not that simple. Okay, there has never been anything called dick discipline. There has never been such a thing as chaste men. Can I get 45 seconds?
No, because I want to hear that.
Oh my God.
I want to hear. I get you, brother. I get you, because this is kind of like a family oriented show. I might have my little niece is subscribed to my channel, so I try to be a little PG as I can. But for those of y'all that don't have the DC, the D control, then you're gonna have your behind at the child support office or in court talking about, well, Yana, I don't know why I got to pay Keisha some more. You know what I'm saying? So control yourself, because you being mad at, like, you can be proactive or you can be reactive, honestly. And this is the other stuff for women too. If you don't want to argue with your 20th baby daddy in court about how he ain't coming through with the child support, put your legs together real tight. Put them together real tight and say, I ain't gonna be able to take that ride. In some places, times literally, I can't do it because I don't want to have to be chasing you down for child support. I don't know. It's just that's why I got one child. Got one child, because I ain't want to have to go through all that. That's just me though. So anyway, I'm gonna give y'all a last word before we get on out of here, because we could be here for. Yeah, lady, thank you so much for donation. You know what? You are 100% right. I don't need no cortisone levels raised, and I got enough belly fat. I don't need no more arguing with Black America. Okay. Walter, you done disappeared on us. No, all right, Don, I go ahead. Walter probably fell out somewhere asleep.
Oh yeah. Oh, last words.
Last word.
I think I'm spent.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Donovan.
I will say this. This has been a great discussion, and we need more discussions like this across the internet, because, people are opening their eyes and seeing things that might be fair or could be tweaked for the better. So I think it's kind of good, regardless of how you feel. Women are always going to see it one way, and men are going to see it another way. That's just how we're wired. So there's nothing wrong with that. However, with women being more than 50% of the workforce, women out there making all of this so-called money, women out there being the bosses and stuff, you should not be complaining when you have to be the one that gets raked over the coals in a system that you refuse to update. The system should be fair to everybody that's involved. And it's not just about you and me. It should be fair to what is best for the child, period.
Walter?
Well,
Walter don't know what we talk about. I already know he done checked out a long time ago. Donna, you know I'm telling the truth.
He's winning. Did he go take a shower? He's winning.
He about to get up out of here. I know he probably did.
hey, I have to multitask. The conversation changed from the original topic, so I kind of zoned out just a little bit. But at the end of the day, I mean, what I said last time stands. I think you're responsible for the child. The women, and I don't think they have the ability to change the system. That has to come from the government. You get a million women in the streets protesting, change the system. I don't even think that would help. I think we're just doomed. I think the best thing to do is not end up in the system in the first place. That'd be my advice.
Let me ask you another question. What about this not having D control? Because that's what was said on here. Asking a man to abstain is unrealistic because men don't have D control.
I mean, abstinence, that's a fantasy because people have needs. People are freaks. they got to get their groove on, and that's just the way it is. Mammals mate.
Walter, you ain't saying that about the baby oil? I was waiting for the baby oil comment. Go ahead.
Me too. I was waiting on that.
Why do you think I took a shower? Listen, I think baby oil makes everybody's life better. That's
The baby oil have you up at the child support office, okay?
no. If you use the baby oil properly, use it for massage first and conversation. Intimacy, looking each other in the eye while you rubbing the oil on. You can come to an agreement.
Yeah, agreement that who gonna pay the child support. How about that?
Yeah.
And Maya, how you doing? Says the fact that men and women can't even agree on this panel is the reason child support exists. If it were up to men, not all the children should raise and provide for themselves. In other words, they don't care if they eat. Well, I want to say that's clearly not true for all men, because I know most of the men I know, if not all of them, take care of their children. Even if they're paying child support, they come out of the pocket and they pay for other stuff. I don't know too many men who don't do what they're supposed to do and then some. I know there's men out there who don't. I don't know too many men who aren't doing what they're supposed to do. As I said, I know a lot of men who have just gotten the short end of the stick in regards to the child support system, and it's not right. It's not right, especially when you see men who have to get, like Donovan, to tell y'all his story. He was in the military. Donovan checked out of the military as a major, and he still had jobs outside of that. So he wasn't, the money that they were taking from him, it wasn't money he just had lying around like, $1,600. And now, mind you, this was years ago. So $1,600 a month is still a lot of money. Donovan,
that's for one child. Remember, there was
one child.
Remember, I had two, so I was paying 13 for one and 16 for other. How am I supposed to eat?
Right. So he had jobs outside of being in the military. Donovan is a pilot. He's a pilot in the military. So, like I said, I know a lot of men that got the short end of the stick. So I am an advocate, for the child support system to be overhauled. I just don't think it's right. I don't think it's right that a woman should be able to take a man into court and say, oh, well, I see him with some new tennis shoes on, which means he making some more money. So I think I know that's happened to men. I know personally men that has happened to. So I don't want y'all to ever think that I'm sitting up here thinking, yeah, get a bag from him, sis, get a bag. Because I'm one of those people, I think you should have to work it out. You know what? We didn't get along. We didn't make it. But our main objective should be this child, how to raise this child, how to financially prepare or, provide for the child. I think that should be the goal. I think the last goal is, as my daddy would say, is to put the white man in your business. Because when you get them in your business, you no longer have no say-so as to what's going on. They dictate that for you. A lot of times people get a mediation and so they go off of the recommendation of the mediator who don't know neither one of y'all. And they say what they think is best for y'all. Then when you get that recommendation, you're like, well, I don't like that. I don't like it either. Well, you should have agreed before you got to court and said, this is what we want. We just need a stamp of approval. Then we go on about our merry little way. But I don't think it's right. I know a lot of men who've been dragged over the coals, and I ain't gonna tell Walter's business, but Walter got a story for you.
Ooh, we have to start that at the beginning of the show.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not right. Now, as I said, I am a woman. I ain't had no change in it. I was stuck in the child support system erroneously as well. So I know it happens to women. Don't happen to women as much as it does men, but it does happen sometimes. So it would be better, as I said, make sure you procreating with somebody you really want to be with. Preferably, you should be married, right? Because Walter says it all the time. When you married and you have stuff together, a lot of times it's harder to get out of that. You just try to find ways to make it unless it just ain't gonna work, right? But yeah, make sure you ask yourself those questions. Do I want to have a child with this person? Or can I see myself paying this person all this money? And if you answer no to one of those, then get your ass up. Zip your pants up, pull your skirt down, and say, as much as I want to, this may lead me to consequences to having to be with you, connected to you for the rest of our lives, whether it's college, weddings, all that. It don't stop at child support. Your child get married. Well, who gonna pay for the wedding? You know, they coming to us, and you know the father of the bride got to pay for the. So you still gonna have those discussions. So it's better to be with somebody you're gonna get along with. I mean, I don't know. I really don't even know what to say at this point. Black America, did you get your last comment in?
No, not yet. I was waiting for you.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm gonna give my little smoke show right quick. Walter, this one is for you. You will not not find a black woman in this country unless she wears Birkenstocks, have hairy armpits and dreadlocks. Find her living in a tiny house. You're not going to find that. Okay, so I understand what you're saying about buying some property. I love property. I have it. I dig it. But you're not. I've asked your sister, would she want to come to the farm? She said, no farm life for me. Okay, there is not a black woman in America that's going to do that.
Not true.
Donovan.
My daughter, she builds them and she lives in them. So, my middle daughter.
Okay,
so have hairy armpits.
She's not a hippie. She's not earthy at all.
Not earthy at all, and she's easy on the eyes. So.
Okay. Well, kudos on her. Donovan. You know what? I'll come back. Miss D. There's only 50,000 NOI in America. Okay, so properly, Black Americans do not follow the tenets of the Nation of Islam. So there is no such thing as settling down to a good choice. Women have always controlled sex, and that made men act a certain way. So without women being in control, listening to the music that we have now blaring on the airwaves, men are always going to be able to do the horizontal mumbo. Is that okay to say? That's not you? Okay, don't worry about it. That's fine. Okay. So men are always going to be able to get in for the simple fact that these women are not chaste. There is an actual list of animals that when women weren't available, that men had relations with.
Okay, that's what we're going to draw the line with that one.
I said relations. I said relations.
Listen, brother, last thing I want these people to think is that you're advocating for that. I can't really talk about that on here. We can't really talk
No. What I'm saying is there is no such thing as men not being in control of themselves. Okay. There has never been such a thing where a man all through history, if he hasn't taken what he wants, that's how this world is populated. Cain killed Abel. That's how men are going to operate. And Donovan, we're gonna have to get into the political talk next time because everybody ready to go.
So all right, okay, yeah, and I think everybody had a chance to say something. So yeah, I think I've said enough. But Kevin Samuels, and I know Black America, you're gonna say not all. You didn't really take advice from him. He said that men should practice discipline, right? Discipline, and as I said, and it's not my words, it's his words. He says that if he was Thanos, that he would snap his fingers and take away men's lower regions. Because he says especially Black men are the only group of men, and this is him, not me, I'm just saying this, that I believe that they can screw their way through life, right? They don't have to do anything else but just, screw their way through life. Basically saying that there's other things that should be more important than that. And so as far as you're saying women control sex, I guess I would concede that, but, she ain't taking it from you. You know what I'm saying?
So did you watch the whole thing or you just watched a clip of that? Because
I watched the whole thing.
Okay, so what he was saying was, because I want to kind of clarify that.
I'm gonna tell you exactly what it was. Because wait. Which one thing I'm never gonna do is put up something that ain't gonna be able to back it up. It was the are you a lion or are you a tiger? It was that was almost one of the last ones he did before he died. But go ahead, continue.
So what I think is you as a woman, you see it differently. And the reason that he said that, because he was talking to a certain group of men that if you want to be something, if you want to be somebody, if you're trying to achieve a goal, that having kids, Rollo Tomasi said all men should have vasectomies.
I
You know, and
Rollo Tomasi is too.
right, and all of the men jumped on him because that's basically the same thing that KS was saying.
Rollo Tomasi, we're not talking about LA Confidential. We're talking about somebody else named Rollo Tomasi.
I don't know what LA Confidential is. I'm
that's
sorry.
where he stole it from, LA Confidential, but continue.
So if you're trying to build and make yourself into something, and that's what he wanted. He wanted black men that were really on the ball and on the go and trying to achieve something.
Yes, that's
all men are not trying to be Donovan. All men cannot be Walter.
Let me say this, and then we're gonna get on out of here. So back to what you said about, not all people, the Nation of Islam, this, that, and the other, they don't ascribe to it. But if you really look into it, they're actually teaching discipline. So it's not a bad thing. And yes, all men are not, as you say in your words, Walter Donovan. I guess you kind of meaning, I don't know, upstanding. I don't know what you mean by that, but that's true. And if you are not that way, then maybe you should, take the thing down until you can, get to a point to where you can be a little bit more responsible. And I will say this to women: stop sleeping with men that are not responsible. Men, stop sleeping with women that aren't responsible. I mean, it ain't that hard. But anyway, Ja, how you doing? And hello to everybody came on here. We could be on here forever, but this time change is really like 8 o'clock here, almost 9. So anyway, we're gonna get out of here. Love to continue to chat with y'all. Thank you, Donna. Love and appreciate you, Walter. Love and appreciate you, even though you went and got so fresh and so clean while we was on this show. Wow. Donovan, thank you. I know it's not the regular day to come on here, but I knew you could not come on here. Black America, even though I want to strangle you sometimes. Thank you so much for coming on here and giving us your opinion. You always make this a spirited debate. And so in the meantime, you guys, love you guys in the comment section. Thank y'all for everything that you do. Y'all can donate, just subscribe, all that if you like. In the meantime, we'll see y'all on Sunday. Peace. Now that they're gone, I'm just kidding. Bye.